Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. There is only one moment in which you are truly alive. Not tomorrow. Not yesterday. Now. But you almost never know it. Because your mind is too busy trying to survive. It sorts through the past, analyzes mistakes, replays scenes that no longer exist. Or it anxiously looks into the future, fears, distrusts, builds hypotheses about how not to lose control. And in that moment, you lose everything. Because you miss the essential. In quantum physics, there is no time as a linear line. There are only potentials, waves of probability folded into a single fragment. And that fragment is always here and now. Every thought you have, every emotion, every choice. It is not just a reaction, it is an act of creation. But while you are in the mind, you are not creating, you are copying. You relive yesterday's emotions again. You behave the same way you did yesterday. Think the same thoughts. And that means you are not in the field. You are in a loop. In a loop of the past. In a loop of automatism. To step out of this loop, you must become presence. Not just be silent. Not just sit in a lotus pose. You must reclaim your energy from the past and stop scattering it into anxious scenarios of the future. All power is not in struggle. Power is in silence, in the moment, in the decision to be. While you react, you spend your energy. While you judge, compare, worry, you compress your field. The field around the body literally contracts when you are in fear or resentment. Energy turns into chemistry. The body becomes matter. You turn into a particle trying to change the world through pressure, control, struggle. You pound your fist against water, hoping to change its shape. But in the world of energy, everything is different. You are a wave. You are an electromagnetic impulse. When you are not afraid, not clinging, not manipulating, you begin to radiate. When you feel gratitude, inspiration, love, you expand your field up to 9 meters. You become larger, and now your vibration influences space. You do not go toward the goal comes toward you. You do not ask, you transmit. Thoughts are electrical impulses. Emotions are magnetic waves. And your signal in the field is the combination of the two. You literally program your reality. Every emotion is a command. Every thought is a direction. And if you know how to sustain an elevated state, it is as if you throw a stone into the water again and again, creating waves that sooner or later reach the shore. At first it is barely noticeable ripples, then a wave, then a tsunami. That is how your reality changes. Not by struggle, not by effort, but by a stable frequency. That is why it is important to be here. Not in theory, not in hope, but truly in yourself, in the moment, in the center. Because it is exactly here, right now, that you are the point of power. And only from here does a new world begin. You want to change your life, but you are still in a body that worries, in a mind that controls, in a state that fears. You try by force to work more, move faster, plan, compare, worry, pressure reality as if it were clay in your hands. But you are not a potter, you are energy. When you are matter trying to change matter, you enter a world of struggle. Here everything is built on logic, on strategy, on the ability to reach, grab, control. You are forced to be tense because according to your logic, reality must submit to effort. You try to force the field to give you a result as if you deserved it. As if you calculated everything, as if you could persuade or pressure it. But the field does not submit to logic. It resonates with frequency. And if your frequency is fear, doubt, control, then you will endlessly prove to yourself and to the world that you are worthy, that you can, that you have the right. You will push through closed doors, and even if they open inside, there will be emptiness. Because the field gives not what you want, but who you are in the moment. If there is tension inside, there will be reflection outside. If you worry, you will receive even more reasons to worry. If you are afraid, space will begin to confirm that yes, there is something to fear. That is how resonance works. Matter does not change matter, the field changes matter. And the more you press into physics, the more densely you live from the mind, the further you are from the field. You tighten, you shrink. You become a small point of fear in an infinite ocean of energy. and you forget that you are not a point, you are not a particle, you are a wave. You are capable of influencing matter when you yourself step beyond it, when you do not bang your head against reality but enter into resonance with a new version of yourself, when you do not ask but transmit, when you do not pull the strings of the world but become a magnet. That is why people who manipulate, steal, cling, envy, live in scarcity, because they still think that in this world you have to survive. That reality is a predatory system where the strongest wins. But that is not true. In this world, the most conscious wins, the one who stepped out of fear, the one who let go of struggle, the one who became a wave. While you are matter, you are subject to gravity. But the moment you become energy, you rise above it. You no longer try to change the world, you begin to create another one. And from that moment, everything changes. Imagine that you are a radio transmitter. Every second you radiate. Even when you are silent, even when you sleep, the world reads you not by your words, but by your signal. And here is the question. What are you transmitting into the field right now? Fear, resentment, hope, expectation that someone will save you, the feeling that something is missing. And now the most important thing. The field does not make a distinction between I am afraid this will happen and I do not want this to happen. For it, both options are the same signal, and that signal is real. You do not notice how through your doubts you create exactly the reality you want to avoid. You do not understand why again and again everything goes in circles. But the answer is simple. You continue to radiate the same frequency. The field does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you consider yourself to be right now. You want a house, freedom, love, recognition, but inside you have anxiety, scarcity, rush, the need to prove. Then your signal is anxiety, not a house. Your signal is scarcity, not freedom. Your signal is the attempt to get love, not love itself. Do you see? You cannot receive from the field what does not exist inside you, because the field is a mirror, only delayed. First you radiate, then you receive. But between these 2 points there is a lag, and most people cannot endure this lag. You seem to let go, enter trust, open up, and then, suddenly, nothing happens and you snap back into anxiety, into expectation, into control. And in that moment, you reset your entire wave. You drop the signal, and the universe again does not understand whether you want, whether you fear, or whether you do not believe. It is like turning off the radar every time the answer is flying toward you. You say, "Show me the result and I will believe." And the field says, "Believe, and I will show." That is the game. That is why it is called vibrational alignment, not visual expectation. You cannot wait for the house to knock on your door. You must become the one who already lives in that house. Feel it, breathe it, be it. And when you truly become it, it will happen as if by itself, as if you were accidentally chosen, as if you were lucky. But you will know that it was not an accident. It was your radiation. It was your signal. Have you ever caught yourself saying, "I knew this would happen"? You were not surprised, you were not shocked, you just shrugged and said, "Here we go again." And in that moment you thought it was intuition, that you sensed it, that you predicted the scenario because you have some kind of sixth sense. But the truth is, it was not intuition. It was a scenario you had already lived through inside yourself. You felt it, you replayed it, you ran it with emotion, and in that moment you sent a perfect electromagnetic signal into the field. You did not predict it. You invoked it. We call it instinct, but in reality it is the memory of your own wave. You saw how your thought materialized because you lived it too well. You embodied it. You invested feelings into it. You gave it space. You savored it. You may have even said the phrase, "I'm sure it will happen exactly like this." And inside, there was no fear. It was like a verdict, like readiness. And that state, calm certainty in the negative, became your vibrational order. A paradox? No. You simply don't notice that you know how to believe in negative scenarios better than in positive ones. You don't know how to feel a deep, nasishine emotion of joy in advance. You don't know how to cry from happiness in your imagination. You don't know how to tremble with excitement in a moment where you don't yet have what you want. But you know how to do all of that in the minus. You know how to bring yourself to tears from the thought that everything will collapse. You know how to suffer from a single thought of loss. You know how to believe in the worst to the point of physical sensation. That is why it comes true. Vibrationally, you invest more energy there. You are a magnet. And you simply attracted what you yourself were radiating. Ask yourself honestly, how many times in your life have you said never? I will never. This is impossible. They will never betray me. I will never sink that low. And how often did exactly that happen to you? Why? Because the word never inside you is not neutral. You load it with fear. You vibrate in it. And the field responds not to the word, but to the wave you were holding in that moment. In the mind, we forbid ourselves wealth, because in the body, we don't know how to feel it. Try sitting right now and simply imagine, I live in abundance. I have everything. Money comes easily. People support me. I am needed. I am successful. Everything works in my favor. And watch how much sabotage immediately surfaces. You won't even believe yourself. You will feel shame or guilt or the thought, but this is just fantasy, because you are not used to feeling this way. You don't know how to build a strong wave in the positive. You don't know how to become a clear channel for something good. But the body can. The field is waiting. And if you learn to radiate a powerful wave of joy the way you know how to radiate a wave of fear, you won't just change your life. You will begin rewriting the very fabric of your reality. Most people think they are this body, that everything they are is form, boundaries, bones, skin, and story. But you are not the body. You are energy condensed into form. You are a wave that chose to become a particle. And you forgot that you can change the form if you change the wave. Every morning you wake up and return to the old you, with familiar pain, familiar doubt, the same thoughts. You take yesterday and put it on today. You glue your reality from the past, because your mind is the architect of the old. It wants predictability. It cannot allow you to become different because if you change, the entire old system collapses. That is why the field cannot bring you a new life while you vibrate like the old version of yourself. Look at how it works. In the morning you wake up and the first thoughts are not yours. They are yesterday's thoughts attached to today's body. They trigger familiar chemical reactions in the body, stress hormones, the inner background. And now you are not original. You are a repetition. You think again that you must be careful, that nothing comes easily, that money is hard to earn, that trust is dangerous. And all of this is a magnetic wave you radiate from the very morning. It is like a radio you tune with the first movement of thought. And now your frequency is fixed. The field catches it and your new reality becomes the old one. You want change, but you keep the antenna on the old signal because you have not become different. You just woke up and repeated yourself. To change reality, you must not wait for a miracle. You must become one. In the morning, do not just wake up. Tune the wave. Do not ask what will happen today. Ask, who do I choose to be today? You can take responsibility for your frequency. You can close your eyes and tune yourself like a musical instrument. I choose clarity. I choose openness. I choose lightness. I choose trust. I choose the vibration of love, strength, abundance. And you will not attract it. You will begin to match it. Because you cannot receive what you are not. You are not a magnet for accidents. You are a transmitter. And everything that comes to you is a response to your morning signal. How many times have you told yourself, that's it, I understand everything now, I won't do this again. Now I will definitely change. And what? Reality stayed the same. Because the field does not react to what you know. It does not read your conclusions. It reacts to what you radiate right now. You can be the smartest person, know quantum physics, psychotherapy, neural networks by heart. But if fear is still encoded in your body, if you continue to vibrate in guilt, doubt, control, you are transmitting the past. And so you receive it again. Because change does not happen through awareness, but through emotional rewriting of the field. Through the inner point, where the old emotion dies, and a new one launches another version of reality. One flash of emotion, fully lived, can rewrite years of pain. One day in a state of flow can burn your matrix. It is like a drop of ink in water. If you drop a strong drop, it colors the entire field around it. If you lived that state not superficially but through the body, the heart, the nervous system, it becomes new coding. That is why gratitude is not some vanilla idea from books. It is a direct command to the field. That is why joy is not weakness, but your vibrational access code. But there is a trap here. Many collapse at the peak. A sign appears, a chance, a door. And it begins. This is too good to be true. I am not ready. What if it doesn't work? And that's it. The wave disappears. Because your task is not only to feel, it is to hold the purity. Despite the noise of the mind, despite resistance, despite the old programming. This is where everything is decided. You either return to the old timeline, or you make a leap into a new one. And you have felt it before. Those moments when everything suddenly became clear, not mentally but at the level of the body, when space seemed to freeze and you knew, this is it. This is your entry point. If you stepped through, you remember it. If you collapsed, you know how painful it was. But now you understand. You are the generator of the signal. You do not wait. You transmit. You do not beg. You open. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath and simply feel. You exist. You are not a name, not a role, not a story. You are pure presence, energy, light, vibration. Imagine that you are not a body, but an energetic field. You intertwine with space, with air, with the sky, with every sound. You are not in this world. You are this world. And everything you radiate returns back to you. Feel how through your chest flows a current, soft, warm, alive. Feel how the energy of love expands you from within. You become wider than the body, wider than the room, wider than thoughts. You are a wave. You are vibration. You are the creator of this reality. With every thought, every state, every emotion you allow yourself to live through. And this state is not the result. It is the starting point. This is the pill. This is the entrance. Everything begins from it. Not when you receive, but when you become. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.